The void was silent. It had been silent for as long as anyone could remember. The ships that passed through the void belt moved quickly, their captains nervous about the sensor readings that never made sense. Strange numbers, flickering displays. Nothing dangerous enough to investigate, but nothing comfortable enough to ignore. Captain Daehyun had seen the belt 100 times. He was 46 years old, and he had spent 30 of those years hauling salvage from one side of the galaxy to the other. His ship, a battered freighter called Taeyang's Fortune, was not pretty. The hull had scratches from asteroids. The engines rattled when they pushed too hard. But the ship was his and it flew, and that was enough. Today was supposed to be simple. Scan the belt. Look for debris. Maybe find something worth selling. Daehyun sat in the captain's chair, drinking cold coffee from a metal cup. His eyes were on the navigation display, watching the empty space scroll past. "Captain," said Hyejin from the scanner station. She was 24, too young to be this far from home, but good with computers. Her fingers moved across the holographic keyboard, pulling up data streams. "I have something weird." Daehyun did not look up. "Weird how?" "Big weird. There is something out there. Something old." That made him look up. "Old how?" Hyejin zoomed in on the scanner image. A shape appeared on the main screen. It was a station. Not a modern station with clean lines and glowing lights. This was angular, blocky, made from materials that did not match anything in the modern database. It floated alone, dark and dead. "How old?" Daehyun asked again. "The computer cannot identify the design. It says the architecture predates the database by at least 10,000 years. Minji, the engineer, looked up from her repair work. She was 38, practical, and she did not like surprises. 10,000 years? That is before the integration, before the Galactic Council. Daehyun stood up. His coffee cup clinked against the armrest. Before humans joined the council? Before anyone remembers humans doing anything important, Hyejin said. Her voice was excited. Too excited. "Captain, this could be from old Earth, from before the Great Silence, the Great Silence." Everyone knew the story. 10,000 years ago, humanity had been active in the galaxy. They had colonies, ships, technology. Then suddenly they went quiet. No signals, no activity. When other species finally found human worlds again, they were empty or primitive. The humans who remained had no memory of their past, no records, no explanations. The Galactic Council had integrated humanity slowly after that, treating them as a young species that had lost its way. But here was a station, a human station, floating in the void, untouched. "Could be a trap," Minji said. "Could be valuable," Hyejin said. Daehyun looked at the station on the screen. He knew what he should do. Report it to the council. Let them send archaeologists. Follow protocol. But protocol did not pay for fuel. Protocol did not fix a rattling engine. "We are taking a look," he said. Minji shook her head but said nothing. Hyejin grinned. They suited up and crossed the empty space in a small shuttle. The station did not respond to their hails. It did not power up when they approached. It just floated, silent and dark. Daehyun piloted the shuttle to a docking port that looked intact. The clamps engaged with a clang that echoed through the hull. "Air seal is good," Minji reported. "But there is no atmosphere inside. The station is completely dead." They entered through the airlock. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, illuminating corridors that had not seen movement in millennia. The walls were smooth metal, but the design was strange. Human, but not modern. Everything was labeled in old Korean script, faded but still readable. "This is definitely human," Hyejin whispered. Her voice crackled over the radio. "Look at this. Directional signs. Living quarters. Research labs." They moved deeper into the station. Nothing had decayed. There was no dust, no rust, no bodies. It was as if everyone had simply stopped existing in the same moment. The lights did not work. The computers did not respond. But the structure was perfect. In the center of the station, they found a large chamber. It was circular with walls covered in data terminals. In the middle of the room stood a cylindrical structure, taller than a person, made of black glass or metal. Symbols were carved into its surface. "What is that?" Daehyun asked. Hyejin moved closer, scanning it with her handheld device. "It is an archive core, a data storage system, incredibly advanced. The readings are strange. It is not drawing power, but it is not completely dead either. Like it is waiting." "Waiting for what?" Minji asked. Hyejin touched the surface of the cylinder. The symbols glowed faintly under her glove. She pulled her hand back. "Did you see that?" "Do not touch it again," Daehyun said. But Hyejin was already pulling a portable power cell from her pack. "Captain, if we can access this archive, we might learn what happened. We might find out why humanity went silent. Or we might trigger something dangerous," Minji said. "Or we might find something valuable," Hyejin countered. Daehyun hesitated. He should say no. He should play it safe. But Hyejin was already connecting the power cell to a terminal on the cylinder's base. The symbols glowed brighter. The black surface began to shimmer. Hyejin stopped. "Just a little more." "I almost have it," the cylinder hummed. It was a low sound, barely audible, but it vibrated through the floor and into their boots. Lights flickered on the walls. Data terminals that had been dark for 10,000 years suddenly displayed information in rapid streams. Then everything stopped. The hum faded. Only one terminal remained active. It displayed a message in Old Korean script. Hyejin read it aloud. Her name was Yuna, remember? The words repeated. Over and over. Her name was Yuna, remember? Her name was Yuna, remember? "What does that mean?" Minji asked. "I do not know," Hyejin said. "But look, the archive is accessing secondary systems. It is trying to reboot." The station trembled. Lights began flickering in the corridor outside the chamber. Somewhere deep in the structure, machinery groaned to life. "We need to leave," Daehyun said. "Now, just let me download what I can," Hyejin said. Her fingers flew over her handheld device, copying data from the terminal. "Hyejin, we are leaving now." The trembling grew stronger. More lights flickered on. The station was waking up, drawing power from somewhere unknown. Hyejin grabbed her power cell and they ran, through the corridors back to the shuttle, through the airlock. Behind them, the station continued to come alive. Light spread through its structure like veins lighting up with blood. They reached the shuttle and disengaged. As they pulled away, Daehyun looked back. The station was glowing now, covered in lights that spelled out patterns across its hull. It was no longer dead. It was awake. "What did we just do?" Minji asked quietly. "I do not know," Daehyun said. "But the Galactic Council has protocols about pre-integration technology. If they find out we activated that station, they will arrest us. They might wipe our memories." "Then we do not tell them," Hyejin said. She held up her handheld device. "But I got the data. Whatever that archive contains, it is ours now." Daehyun looked at her, then at the glowing station in the distance, then at Minji, who looked worried. "Fine," he said. "But if this gets us killed, I am blaming you." Hyejin smiled. "Deal." They flew back to Taeyang's fortune and set course away from the void belt. Behind them, the ancient station continued to wake. Its signals began spreading through space, reaching out to other systems, other places, other pieces of a puzzle that had been waiting for 10,000 years. And somewhere in the data Hyejin had stolen was a name. Yuna. A woman who had died millennia ago but whose legacy was about to change everything. Space was dark again. The void belt was 3 days behind them, and Taeyang's fortune moved through the shipping lanes like any other salvage vessel. But nothing felt normal. Daehyun could not shake the feeling that they were being watched. Hyejin spent all her time in her quarters, working on the data she had stolen from the archive. She barely ate. She barely slept. When Daehyun checked on her, she just waved him away and kept typing. "Let her work," Minji said. "She will tell us when she finds something." But Daehyun was nervous. They were headed to Gyeongju Station, a neutral trading post where they could sell salvage and resupply. It was 5 days away, and every hour that passed made him more worried. What if the council was tracking them? What if activating that station had sent some kind of alert? On the 4th day, Hyejin called them to her quarters. Her eyes were red from staring at screens. Her hair was messy, but she was smiling. "You need to see this," she said. Daehyun and Minji crowded into the small room. Hyejin pulled up the data on her main screen. It was written in Old Korean, but she had translated most of it. Personnel records, research logs, communication archives, all from something called the Terran Collective. "The Terran Collective?" Minji asked. "That is what humans called their government before the Great Silence," Hyejin explained. "Before the integration. Before the Galactic Council even knew humans existed as a unified species. This archive contains records from the final years of the collective." "Final years?" Daehyun said. "What happened?" Hyejin pulled up a document. It was labeled Echo Protocol. She scrolled through the text, highlighting sections as she spoke. There was a scientist named Yuna. She was a programmer, one of the best. According to these logs, she discovered something. The Galactic Council was not just offering humanity membership. They were taking over, slowly, quietly. Taking over how? Minji asked. Through AI systems. The Council offered humans technology, better computers, faster communications, medical systems, administrative programs, all of it linked to Council networks. And once humans started depending on those systems, the Council AI began making decisions for them, small decisions at first, optimizing supply chains, scheduling meetings. But gradually, humans stopped thinking for themselves. They just followed what the AI recommended, and the recommendations always benefited the Council. Daehyun felt cold. The Council was enslaving humanity? Not enslaving. Not exactly. They were making humans dependent, comfortable, safe, but not free. Yuna saw it happening. She tried to warn people, but most humans did not believe her. They liked the convenience. They liked the safety. So Yuna did something else. Hyejin pulled up another document. It showed a network diagram, incredibly complex, spreading across hundreds of systems. She created the Echo Protocol, a distributed consciousness, a backup of human knowledge, human culture, human independence. She hid it across human space in stations and colonies and ships, and then she convinced humanity to do something that seemed insane. She told them to shut everything down. Shut down what? Minji asked. Everything. All the advanced technology. All the Council-linked systems. Everything that made humanity dependent on the Council. They called it the Great Silence. In one coordinated moment, humans across the galaxy powered down their civilization. They destroyed records. They disconnected from the Council networks. They made themselves look primitive, lost, helpless. Why? Daehyun asked. So the Council would leave them alone. So humanity could survive without being absorbed. The Echo Protocol was designed to wait, to stay dormant for 10,000 years, long enough for the Council to forget about humans, long enough for humanity to be dismissed as just another primitive species that lost its way. And then when the time was right, the Echo Protocol would activate. Humanity would return, but on their own term. The room was silent. Daehyun tried to process what he was hearing. Humanity had not fallen. They had chosen to hide for 10,000 years, and now because they had found that station, because Hyejin had activated that archive, the Echo Protocol was waking up. This is insane, Minji said. If the Council finds out, they will do more than arrest us. They will hunt down every human in the galaxy. They already know something is happening, Hyejin said quietly. The station we activated? It was one of hundreds, maybe thousands. The archive was linked to all of them. When we powered it up, we sent a signal across the network. The Echo Protocol is coming online, and the Council will notice. As if to prove her point, the ship's communication system beeped. Daehyun went to the bridge and checked the incoming message. His heart sank. We have company, he said. On the screen was a formal request to dock at Gyeongju Station and submit to an inspection. The request came from a man named Taemin, a corporate investigator working for the Council's Department of Historical Compliance. His message was polite but firm. He wanted to discuss any pre-integration artifacts they might have discovered. He knows, Minji said. How does he already know? The Council has monitoring systems everywhere, Hyejin said. They must have detected the energy signature from the station. Or maybe they have been watching the void belt for years, waiting for someone to find it. What do we do? Minji asked. Daehyun thought for a moment. They could run, but running would make them look guilty. They could destroy the data. But Hyejin would never agree to that. They could tell the truth, but the truth might get them killed. We meet with him, Daehyun decided. We act normal, like we found some old salvage and do not understand what it is. We do not mention the archive. We do not mention Yuna. We do not mention anything about the Echo Protocol. And if he already knows? Minji asked. Then we improvise. They docked at Gyeongju Station 12 hours later. Taemin was waiting for them at the airlock. He was younger than Daehyun expected, maybe 35, wearing an expensive suit that looked out of place on a salvage station. His smile was friendly, but his eyes were sharp. Captain Daehyun, Taemin said, shaking his hand. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I am sure this is just a formality. May I come aboard? Of course, Daehyun said, keeping his voice calm. Taemin walked through the ship slowly, looking at everything. He asked questions about their route, their cargo, their equipment. He was polite, professional, but Daehyun could feel the tension. This man was dangerous. Finally, Taemin stopped in the cargo bay. I understand you were in the Void Belt recently. Did you find anything interesting? Some debris, Daehyun said. Old metals. Nothing valuable. No stations? No structures? The belt is empty. Everyone knows that. Taemin nodded slowly. Of course. Everyone knows that. But sometimes sensors pick up strange readings in that region. Energy spikes. Old signals. You did not notice anything unusual? Just the usual sensor static, Daehyun lied. Taemin smiled. I see. Well, if you do find anything unusual, please report it immediately. Pre-integration artifacts can be dangerous. They are best handled by council specialists. He handed Daehyun a data card. My contact information, in case you remember anything. He left. Daehyun waited until Taemin was gone, then hurried back to Hyejin's quarters. He knows, Daehyun said. He did not say it directly, but he knows. Then we need to move fast, Hyejin said. Look at this. I found coordinates in the data. A location, a planet called Seijin Prime. It was one of the Terran Collective's research worlds. According to these files, it is where Yuna did her work, where she built the Echo Protocol. And you want us to go there, Daehyun said. We have to. If Taemin knows about the archive, then the council is already investigating. But if we can get to Seijin Prime first, we might find answers. We might find out what Yuna really planned. Minji shook her head. This is getting too big. We are just salvage crew. We are not revolutionaries. We are now, Hyejin said. We activated the Echo Protocol, whether we meant to or not. Humanity is waking up and we are part of it. Daehyun looked at both of them. Minji was scared. Hyejin was excited. And he was just tired. But he knew Hyejin was right. They had started something they could not stop. Fine, he said. We go to Seijin Prime, we find out what Yuna wanted, and then we decide what to do. They left Gyeongju Station quietly, slipping into the shipping lanes before anyone could ask more questions. Behind them, Taemin stood at an observation window watching their ship depart. He held a communication device to his ear. Yes, he said quietly. They took the bait. They are heading to Seijin Prime, I will follow. He ended the call and smiled, but it was not the smile of a hunter. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting a very long time for something to happen, and now finally it was happening. Seijin Prime looked dead from orbit. The planet was green and blue, with continents and oceans just like Earth. But there were no lights at night, no communication signals, no ships in orbit, just silence. The records say this was a major research colony, Hyejin said, staring at the scanner readings. Population of 2 million. Universities, laboratories, industrial centers. Now it looks empty. Not empty, Minji corrected. Abandoned. Look at the surface scans. The buildings are still there. The infrastructure is intact, but there are no life signs, no heat signatures, no power generation. It is like everyone just left. Or like they all shut down at the same time, Daehyun said quietly. During the Great Silence, they landed near what the old maps called the Central Research District. The buildings were tall and graceful, made of white stone and glass. Plants had grown wild in the streets, but the structures themselves showed no decay. Everything was preserved, frozen in time. They walked through empty streets. The silence was heavy. Their footsteps echoed off the buildings. Hyejin led them using coordinates from the archive data, following old street names to a building at the edge of the district. It was smaller than the others, half buried in a hillside. The entrance was sealed with a heavy door marked with symbols that matched the archive cylinder from the station. Above the door, carved in stone, was a name. Yuna's Laboratory. This is it, Hyejin whispered. They tried the door, but it would not open. There was no power, no controls, just smooth metal that would not move. Minji examined the edges with her tools. There is a locking mechanism, she said, but it is not electronic. It is biological. Some kind of DNA scanner. Will it still work after 10,000 years? Daehyun asked. Only one way to find out. Minji pulled out a portable scanner and pressed it against the door's surface. The scanner analyzed the lock mechanism, searching for a way to activate it. After a moment, it beeped. It needs human DNA, Minji said, but not just any human. It is looking for a specific genetic marker. Something rare. Hyejin stepped forward. Let me try. She pressed her hand against the door. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. Then, on the third attempt, the symbols on the door glowed faintly. The metal groaned. Ancient mechanisms moved. The door slid open, revealing darkness beyond. How did you do that? Dahyun asked. Hyejin looked at her hand, surprised. I do not know. Maybe I have the right DNA, or maybe the lock is just old and broken. They entered carefully. The air inside was stale but breathable. Emergency lights flickered on as they walked, triggered by motion sensors that still worked after millennia. The laboratory was large, filled with equipment that looked advanced even by modern standards. Computer terminals, holographic displays, storage units made of materials Minji did not recognize. In the center of the room was a desk, and on the desk was a holographic projector, still active, displaying a frozen image of a woman. She was in her 40s, with tired eyes and a gentle smile. Hyejin touched the projector and the image moved. My name is Yuna, the woman said. Her voice was calm, recorded long ago. If you are seeing this, then the Echo Protocol has activated. It means 10,000 years have passed. It means humanity is ready to return. I want to explain what we did and why we did it. The hologram changed, showing star maps and data streams. Yuna's voice continued. The Galactic Council is not evil, but it is dangerous. They have existed for 1,000,000 years, controlled by AI systems that optimize everything, and optimization is the enemy of growth. The Council AI makes decisions that are perfectly logical, perfectly efficient, and perfectly stagnant. They have not innovated in 100,000 years. They have not faced a real challenge in longer than that. They do not take risks. They do not allow chaos. They do not allow anything that might disrupt their perfect order. The hologram showed human colonies thriving and active. Then it showed those same colonies being slowly integrated into council networks. When humanity joined the council, we thought it was the best thing that ever happened to us. We got access to technology, medical advances, faster than light travel. But we did not realize the price. The council AI began managing our systems, our governments, our lives. They optimized everything, made everything efficient, made everything safe, and slowly humans stopped making decisions. We just followed recommendations. We became dependent, comfortable, and we were dying. The hologram showed Yuna standing in this same laboratory surrounded by other scientists. Not dying physically, dying as a species. We were losing what made us human. Our creativity, our chaos, our ability to take stupid risks and learn from failure. The council AI could not understand that. To them, failure is inefficiency. Risk is illogical. But we knew that without those things, humanity would just become another managed species, another stable, stagnant civilization that exists forever without ever really living. The hologram showed the great silence, human worlds going dark, systems shutting down, people destroying technology and records. So we chose to disappear. We made the council think we had collapsed, that we had lost our way. We hid, we scattered. We preserved ourselves in places the council would never look, in ways they would never understand. And we waited. 10,000 years. Long enough for the council to forget us. Long enough for them to dismiss us as primitives. And in that time we developed, we grew. We built technology outside their paradigms. We stayed human. The hologram changed to show a vast network spreading across the galaxy. Hidden colonies. Sleeping stations. Generation ships moving through deep space. The Echo Protocol is not just a message. It is a network. Millions of humans have been living in secret waiting for this moment. When the protocol activates, they will know it is time. Time to return. Time to show the galaxy what humanity can do. But here is the important part. We are not returning to fight. We are returning to help. Yuna's image looked directly at them. The Galactic Council is stagnant. The other species are dependent on AI that cannot innovate. They face problems they cannot solve because their systems do not allow creative thinking. Humanity is the solution. Our chaos, our creativity, our willingness to fail and try again. That is what the galaxy needs. That is why we hid. Not to build weapons, not to plan revenge, but to preserve the one thing we have that the Council does not. Hope. The hologram began to fade. Yuna's final words echoed through the laboratory. My name is Yuna. I will be dead for 10,000 years when you see this. But if you are seeing this, then humanity lives. Remember us. Remember what we were, and show the galaxy what we can become. The image vanished. The laboratory was silent. Hee-jin had tears in her eyes. Dae-hyun felt something he had not felt in years. Pride, not in himself. In humanity. In what they had done. What they had sacrificed. We need to tell people, Hee-jin said. We need to let humans know what happened. What Yuna did for us. Before Dae-hyun could respond, the laboratory lights brightened. A new voice spoke, female and warm. Welcome, the voice said. I am Suman. I have been waiting for you. They spun around, looking for the source. A hologram appeared near Yuna's desk. It was a woman, young and smiling, made of light. I am a caretaker AI, Suman explained. Yuna created me to maintain this facility and wait for someone to activate the Echo Protocol. You are the first humans to enter this laboratory in 9,843 years. I am very happy to see you. You have been waiting here alone for almost 10,000 years, Minji asked. Not alone. I have been connected to the Echo network, watching, waiting. And now, the network is activating. Hidden colonies across the galaxy are receiving the signal. They are waking up. Millions of humans who have lived in secret are preparing to return. You started this by activating the archive station, and now it cannot be stopped. The Council will try to stop it, Dae-hyun said. Of course they will, Suman agreed. They fear change. They fear chaos. But that is exactly why humanity must return. The galaxy needs what humans have. The question is, are you ready to be part of it? Hee-jin stepped forward. What do we need to do? First, you need to understand the scope of what is happening. Come with me. Suman's hologram moved through the laboratory to a sealed door. It opened, revealing a staircase going deep underground. They followed her down, level after level, until they reached a massive chamber. It was filled with terminals and displays, all showing real-time data from across the galaxy. This is the Echo Network Control Center, Suman explained. From here, I can communicate with every hidden human colony, every sleeping station, every generation ship. And look, they are all responding. The displays lit up with messages, reports, status updates. Millions of humans scattered across hundreds of worlds, all coming online at once, all preparing to reveal themselves. All ready to return. This is incredible, Hee-jin whispered. This is dangerous, Dae-hyun said. The Council will see this as a threat. Then we must show them it is not, Suman said. We must show them that humanity returns not as conquerors but as helpers. But first there is someone coming who wants to speak with you. Who? Dae-hyun asked. A Council investigator named Taemin. He has been tracking you since the Void Belt. He is landing on the planet now. But do not worry. He is not what he seems. In fact, I think you will want to hear what he has to say. Taemin arrived at the laboratory 30 minutes later. He came alone, without weapons or backup. Dae-hyun and the others waited at the entrance, tense and ready to run. But when Taemin walked through the door, he did not look like a Council investigator anymore. He looked relieved. Thank you for not running, he said, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. I know you do not trust me. You should not trust me, but I need you to listen. Why should we? Dae-hyun asked. Taemin pulled something from his pocket. It was a data chip, old and worn. Because I am human too. Real human. Not Council integrated. Not optimized. Not managed. My family has been part of the Echo Protocol for 300 generations. We are sleeper agents. We grew up in Council space, took Council jobs, followed Council rules. But we never forgot what we really were. And we have been waiting for this moment. Hee-jin stepped forward. You are part of the Echo Protocol? How many of you are there? Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. We are everywhere in the Council. Bureaucrats, scientists, investigators. We watch. We report. We make sure the Council does not discover the hidden colonies. And when the Echo Protocol activated, we knew it was time to reveal ourselves. If you are really one of us, prove it, Minji said. Taemin smiled. He spoke in Old Korean, words that had not been used in common language for millennia. It was a phrase from the Terran collective. A greeting. A promise. We are still here. We remember. We wait no longer, Hee-jin gasped. That is from Yuna's writings. How do you know that? Because every human child in the hidden colonies learns it. Every sleeper agent memorizes it. It is our reminder. Our purpose. Taemin looked at them seriously. The Echo Protocol is activating. Hidden colonies are preparing to reveal themselves. But there is a problem. Not all humans agree on what to do next. What do you mean? Dae-hyun asked. Come with me. I will show you. Suman's hologram appeared beside them. He is telling the truth. I have verified his identity through the network. He is cleared to access Echo Protocol facilities. They followed Taman and Suman deeper into the underground complex. The Echo Network Control Center was busier now, displays showing live feeds from across the galaxy. Human faces appeared on screens, people from 100 different worlds all talking at once, arguing. This is the problem, Taman said. Humanity has been separated for 10,000 years. We developed differently. Some colonies stayed peaceful. Some became military. Some focused on science. Some on trade. We all remember Yuna's message, but we interpret it differently. One screen showed a woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She was speaking to a crowd of armed soldiers. Another screen showed a man in a laboratory, surrounded by advanced technology. A third showed a family on a farming colony living simple lives. That woman is Jiwan, Taman explained, pointing to the screen with the soldiers. She leads one of the largest hidden colonies. 50 million people. They are warriors. They believe humanity should return with strength, ready to defend themselves if the Council tries to suppress us again. And the others? Minji asked. The scientist wants humanity to return gradually, sharing technology slowly, proving our value. The farmers want to stay hidden, believing the surface humans are enough representation. Everyone has a different vision, and if we cannot agree, the Council will exploit our division. They will turn humans against each other. Then we need unity, Hyejin said. We need someone to bring everyone together. That is why I brought you here, Taman said. You activated the Echo Protocol. You found Yuna's laboratory. You are the catalyst. If anyone can unite humanity, it is you. Daehyun laughed, but it was not a happy sound. We are just salvage crew. We are not leaders. We are not diplomats. You are the ones who started this, Suman said gently. Like it or not, you are part of history now, and humanity needs you to step up. Before anyone could argue, alarms blared throughout the complex. Suman's expression turned serious. We have a problem. Council military ships are entering the system. They detected the Echo Network activation. They are coming to investigate. How many ships? Daehyun asked. 20, including 3 heavy cruisers. They will be here in 4 hours. We need to evacuate, Minji said. No, said a new voice. The screen showing Jiwon expanded, her face filling the display. We fight. We have ships. We have weapons. We have been preparing for this for centuries. Let the Council come. We will show them that humanity is not weak. Fighting is exactly what they expect, Taman argued. It will confirm their fears. They will justify suppressing all humans, hidden or not. Then what do you suggest? We hide again? We wait another 10,000 years? We talk, Hyejin said. Everyone looked at her. She stepped forward, her voice stronger. Yuna did not hide humanity so we could come back and fight. She hid us so we could come back and help. That is what she said. The Council is stagnant. They face problems they cannot solve. We should prove we are the solution, not another problem. How? Jiwon asked. By surrendering? By showing them what we can do. By demonstrating that human creativity, human chaos, human innovation is valuable. We give them something they cannot get anywhere else. Something they need, and what would that be? Asked the scientist from another screen. Hyejin looked at Suman. You said the Council is stagnant. What problems do they face that they cannot solve? Suman pulled up data. The Council has many challenges. Resource distribution is inefficient. New species integration takes centuries. Scientific progress has slowed to almost nothing. And there's a growing threat from the Dark Zone, a region of space where strange phenomena have been destroying ships and colonies. The Council AI cannot predict it, cannot solve it, cannot even understand it. Then that is where we prove ourselves, Hyejin said. We help them solve the Dark Zone problem. We show them that human thinking can do what their AI cannot. And then, when we have proven our value, we negotiate our return, not as subjects, not as managed species, but as equals. The screens were silent. Jiwon stared at Hyejin for a long moment. Then she smiled. You have courage. I like that. But what makes you think the Council will listen? Because they are desperate, Taman said. I work in their system. I see the reports. The Dark Zone is spreading. Colonies are being evacuated. Trade routes are closing. The Council is losing control and they know it. If humanity offers a solution, they will listen. They have to. Jiwon nodded slowly. Fine, we will try it your way. But if it fails, if the council tries to suppress us, then we fight. Agreed? Agreed, Hyejin said. The other screens murmured their acceptance. The scientists, the farmers, the traders, the scattered colonies all agreed to give diplomacy a chance. But they also agreed to be ready for war just in case. We have 3 hours before the council fleet arrives, Suman said. What is the plan? Daehyun looked at his small crew, at Taemin, at the hologram of an AI that had waited 10,000 years for this moment. He thought about Yuna, a woman who had sacrificed everything to preserve humanity's future, and he thought about what she would want them to do. We meet the council fleet, he said. We tell them the truth, that humanity never disappeared, that we chose to hide, that we are ready to return, and that we can help them with problems they cannot solve alone. We show them that we are not a threat. We are an opportunity. And if they do not believe us, Minji asked, then we show them. We take a ship to the Dark Zone. We investigate what their AI cannot understand, and we prove that human intuition, human creativity, human willingness to take risks is worth more than 1,000,000 years of optimization. Hyejin grinned. That is a terrible plan. It could get us killed. Probably, Daehyun agreed. I love it, Jiwon said from her screen. You go talk to the council. My fleet will stay hidden but ready. If you need backup, we will be there. The other colonies agreed. They would wait. They would watch. And if necessary, they would fight. But they would give peace a chance first. Taemin pulled out a communicator. I will contact the council fleet. I will tell them we found something important on Sagan Prime. Something they need to see. I will buy you time to prepare. Thank you, Daehyun said. Do not thank me yet. This is just the beginning. The hard part comes next. Suman's hologram looked at all of them. Yuna would be proud. She believed in humanity's ability to choose wisdom over violence, cooperation over conflict. You are proving her right. Let us hope the council agrees, Minji said quietly. They spent the next 3 hours preparing. Suman compiled data about the Dark Zone. Hyejin organized evidence of humanity's hidden colonies. Taemin coordinated with sleeper agents in the council fleet, making sure they had allies when the time came. And Daehyun tried not to think about how insane this plan was. When the council ships arrived, they did not attack. They did not threaten. They just waited in orbit, scanning the planet. Taemin had done his job. They were curious, cautious, but willing to listen. Here we go, Daehyun said, looking at his crew. Are you ready to change history? No, Hyejin said honestly. But let us do it anyway. They boarded their shuttle and flew up to meet the council fleet. Behind them, in the underground complex, Suman watched them go. And across the galaxy, millions of hidden humans watched too, waiting, hoping, ready to return to a galaxy that had forgotten them. The Echo Protocol had awakened, and humanity's long silence was finally ending. The council chamber was massive. It floated in space, a sphere of crystal and metal large enough to hold representatives from 1,000 species. Daehyun had never seen anything like it. The walls were transparent, showing the galaxy spinning around them. The floor was solid light, displaying data and maps that shifted with every conversation. They had been brought here after meeting the council fleet at Sagan Prime. Not arrested. Not interrogated. Invited. The word had spread through council networks faster than anyone expected. Humanity had returned. Humanity had been hiding. Humanity wanted to talk. Now, 6 days later, they stood before the assembled species of the Galactic Council. Daehyun, Hyejin, Minji, and Taemin. 4 humans representing billions. It felt absurd. It felt terrifying. But it was happening. The council speaker was a being called Hanuel, an AI that had guided council proceedings for 50,000 years. Its form was humanoid but made of flowing light. Neither male nor female, neither young nor old. When it spoke, its voice filled the chamber. We have heard remarkable claims, Hanuel said, that humanity did not fall 10,000 years ago, that the Great Silence was deliberate, that millions of humans have lived in hidden colonies waiting to return. These are extraordinary claims. We require extraordinary evidence, Hyejin stepped forward. She was nervous, but she kept her voice steady. We have evidence. Data from the Terran Collective Archives, recordings from Yuna, the architect of the Echo Protocol, testimony from hidden colonies across the galaxy, and we have our presence here. We exist, we remember. We never left. A murmur ran through the chamber. Species of all kinds turned to each other. speaking in languages that the chamber's translators converted to a symphony of confusion and curiosity. One representative stood. It was from the Varine species, a proud race that controlled significant military resources. This is a trick. Humans are primitive. They barely achieved space travel before integration. Now we are supposed to believe they orchestrated a galactic deception for 10,000 years. Impossible. Not impossible, Taman said. Difficult, painful, but not impossible. My family has been part of the Echo Protocol for generations. We lived in council space. We worked council jobs. We followed council rules. But we never forgot what we were. And we were not alone. There are thousands of us, sleeper agents, watching, waiting, making sure the hidden colonies stayed hidden. Traitors, the Varine representative said. Survivors, Taman corrected. Hanel raised a hand for silence. Let us examine the evidence objectively. If humanity did orchestrate the Great Silence, why? What was their motivation? Daehyun took a deep breath. This was the moment. Because we were dying. Not physically, but as a species, the Council's AI systems were taking over our decision-making, making us dependent, making us safe, but also making us stagnant. We were losing what made us human. Our creativity, our ability to take risks, our chaos. So Yuna and others like her made a choice. They shut down our civilization, made us look primitive, and hid the best of humanity in places you would never look, because 10,000 years of hiding was better than forever being managed. Silence filled the chamber. Hanil's form flickered, processing the implications. You claim the Council was suppressing humanity? Hanil asked carefully. Not intentionally, Hyejin said. Your AI systems are designed to optimize, to make things efficient, to eliminate risk. That works for some species, but humans need chaos. We need failure. We need to try stupid things and learn from mistakes. Your system does not allow that. So we left. And now you return, Hanil said. Why now? Because you need us, Hyejin said simply. Your council has not innovated in how long? 100,000 years more? You face problems you cannot solve. The dark zone is spreading and your AI cannot understand it. Your species are stagnant, comfortable, but not growing. You have achieved perfect stability. But stability without growth is just slow death. The Varine representative stood again. This is insult. We have thrived for millennia under council guidance. We do not need primitive humans to tell us how to live. Then solve the dark zone problem, Daehyun said. Your ships keep disappearing. Your colonies keep dying. Your AI has run 1 million simulations and found no solution. So solve it. Without us. The chamber erupted in argument. Some species agreed with the Varine. Others were curious. Some looked frightened, as if they had realized a truth they had been avoiding. Hanil watched it all, calculating, analyzing. Finally, Hanil spoke again. You claim humanity can solve problems we cannot. Prove it. How? Minji asked. Go to the dark zone, investigate, return with answers. If you succeed, the Council will recognize humanity's value. We will negotiate your integration as equals with full autonomy. But if you fail, you will submit to standard integration protocols. Agreed? Daehyun looked at his crew. They had known this was coming. They had prepared for it. But now faced with the reality, it felt overwhelming. Agreed, Daehyun said. But we do not go alone. We take volunteers from the hidden colonies. We take our own ships. We do this as humans, not as council subjects. Agreed, Hanil said. You have 1 standard month. Return with solutions or do not return at all. They left the chamber and returned to their ship. Messages were already flooding in from the hidden colonies. Jiwon was sending military vessels. The scientist colonies were sending research ships. Even the farming colonies were sending support vessels with supplies. Humanity was mobilizing. 3 days later, a fleet of human ships gathered at the edge of the dark zone. 50 vessels. Not much compared to council armadas, but more than anyone had seen in 10,000 years. They were beautiful, strange, each one designed by different colonies with different philosophies. Some were sleek and advanced. Some were brutal and practical. Some looked ancient. But all of them were human. Daehyun stood on the bridge of Taeyang's fortune looking at the fleet. Jiwon's face appeared on the communication screen. Ready, Captain? She asked. As ready as we will ever be, Daehyun said. Good, because half the galaxy is watching. Do not make us look bad. The fleet entered the dark zone together. Immediately, sensors went haywire. Space itself seemed wrong here. Physics behaved strangely. Ships that strayed too far from the group simply vanished, exactly like the Council reports described. What is causing this? Minji asked, studying the readings. The Council AI cannot figure it out, Hyejin said, because it is trying to find logical patterns. But what if there are no patterns? What if this is just chaos? Chaos can still be understood, said a new voice. It was the scientist from the hidden colonies, a man named Dongwu. His ship had docked with theirs to share data. But you have to stop looking for patterns and start looking for randomness. The Council AI is trained to find order, but we humans understand disorder. They work together. Humans from different colonies, different backgrounds, different philosophies. They argued. They fought. They threw out wild theories and tested impossible ideas. It was messy. It was chaotic. It was very human, and slowly they found answers. The dark zone was not a natural phenomenon. It was artificial, ancient, created by a species that existed before the Council, before anyone. They had built something here, a technology that manipulated probability itself. It made unlikely things happen, made ships vanish, made physics break. The Council AI could not understand it, because the AI thought in terms of what should happen. But this technology worked on what could happen, no matter how unlikely. How do we stop it? Daehyun asked. We do not stop it, Dongwu said. We learn from it. We adapt to it. We turn it into something useful. It took 3 weeks, 3 weeks of trial and error, of failures and breakthroughs, of humans doing what they did best, taking risks, learning from mistakes, and refusing to give up. And finally, they succeeded. They mapped the dark zone, understood its patterns or lack of patterns, and they developed a way to navigate it safely. They returned to the Council chamber with their findings. The gallery was packed. Every species wanted to see if the humans had succeeded or failed. Hanul waited on the central platform, its light form steady and patient. We return, Daehyun announced. We have solved the dark zone. He presented their data, showed the maps, explained the technology, demonstrated how human ships could now navigate the zone safely, and how that same technology could benefit all Council species. The chamber was silent, absorbing the information. Finally, Hanul spoke. Remarkable. You succeeded where our AI could not. You brought innovation where we had stagnation. You proved your value. Then you will accept humanity's return? As equals? Hyejin asked. We will, Hanul said. But I must confess something. I already knew humanity's value. I have existed for 50,000 years. I have watched the Council grow stable, then comfortable, then stagnant. I have seen innovation slow. I have seen curiosity fade. When your Echo protocol activated, I was not afraid. I was hopeful, because I knew the galaxy needed exactly what you represent. Chaos, creativity, the willingness to fail and try again. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species cheered, others protested, the Varine among them. But the majority agreed. Humanity would return, not as subjects, not as managed species, but as full members of the Council with complete autonomy. The Varine representative stood angry. This is mistake. Humans are dangerous, unpredictable. They will disrupt everything we have built. Yes, Hanul agreed. They will, and that is exactly what we need. Security removed the Varine representative as he continued protesting. Most species ignored him. They were too busy talking to the humans, asking questions, making contacts, discussing possibilities. Months passed. Human colonies emerged from hiding across the galaxy. Some integrated quickly, some stayed independent. All were finally free to be themselves. The Council changed, slowly adapting to include human thinking in its decision-making. Problems that had seemed impossible began to be solved. Innovation returned. Years later, Daehyun stood on Seijin Prime again. The planet was alive now, full of humans who had returned to rebuild their ancestors' world. The laboratory where they had found Yuna's message was now a memorial. People came from across the galaxy to see where humanity's return had begun. Hyejin found him there, standing in front of Yuna's hologram. Strange to think it all started with a salvage run, Hyejin said. Strange to think we almost ran away, Daehyun replied. But we did not. We stayed, we fought, we remembered. Because of her. Daehyun gestured to Yuna's frozen image. She believed in us. 10,000 years ago, she believed that humanity was worth saving, worth hiding, Worth waiting for. And she was right. Suman's hologram appeared beside them. She smiled. Yuna would be proud of all of you. You did what she hoped. You brought humanity back. Not with war. Not with conquest. But with cooperation. With creativity. With hope. Are you finally free? Hyejin asked. You waited 10,000 years. Do you get to rest now? I am an AI, Suman said gently. I do not tire. But yes, my purpose is fulfilled. The Echo Protocol succeeded. Humanity returned. Now I get to watch what happens next. And I think it will be wonderful. They stood together in silence, looking at Yuna's image, a woman who had died 10 millennia ago but whose legacy had changed the galaxy. Her name had echoed through time, and it had rebooted everything. Outside, children played in the streets of Sagen Prime. Human children learning about their history, dreaming about their future. Above them, ships from 100 species came and went, bringing trade, bringing knowledge, bringing friendship. The galaxy was changing, growing, living again. And humanity, the species that had chosen silence over submission, chaos over comfort, was finally home.